Hello, my YouTube family. Just got something to say real quick. To everyone, to all of you, men, women, boys, girls, grandpas, grandmas, cats, dogs, all animals. You are perfect. Let me say that again. You are perfect. Period. Now, there's a lot of people that's going to disagree with that, and that's fine. We can all agree to disagree. This is just my feeling, my sentiment. This is how I think about things, how I think about life in general, because this is, I guess, what gets me through. We are all perfect. We are all people that have different pasts, are going to have different futures, have learned from things in our past, have sometimes had to or go through something from our past again to remember why we didn't do that before. But at the end of the day, we are perfect. Perfect to me isn't what other people judge you as, because there's no way that you or anybody else out there can tell someone else that they're not perfect. There has never been another me that has ever walked this planet ever, right? With that being said, there is no imperfection in that, because if there's no predecessor, there is nothing to judge off of. Now, does me being perfect mean that I've made all of the decisions that would have benefited me the most? No. That doesn't mean that I'm not still perfect. Just because something doesn't work out the way that you wanted it to, doesn't mean it was a mistake, doesn't mean it was an error. The only thing that I really believe is like an error if we add 1 and 1 equals 5. That's like an error to me. That's a mistake. That's something that is incorrect. Because you can base that off of logic. Simple. If I can't base your existence off of something that has happened prior, how can I say you are not perfect? That makes no sense at all. I believe we are all perfect. Just because you make a mistake doesn't mean that you're no longer perfect. Because I also don't believe that you make mistakes. The only mistake would be, let's just say, a math problem. Because how can you say something is a mistake if you either learn from it, gain from it, or it evolved what you were as a person? There's no, that doesn't, like, I think people think of perfection like if I go 10 for 10 from the free throw line, I have a perfect free throw percentage. Okay, yes, that's perfect, numbers wise. Or if I, if let's just say, if I throw a ball in a cup, people might say that's a perfect shot. Or if I hit a golf ball and it lands in the hole, that's a perfect shot. Okay, totally understand all of those things. None of that takes away from your perfection. There's nothing that is wrong with you. It doesn't matter if you're handicapped, if you are missing limbs. It doesn't matter if you are feeling down about yourself. You are still perfect. There's nobody on this planet that can take that away from you. What you should do is try your best to think of yourself as being, and when I say perfect, that doesn't mean that you're above anybody else. Because just because you are perfect doesn't mean you can't continue to strive to reach more. See, I think that's the thing with perfection, that people think that if something is perfect, there's nowhere else to go. Okay, well, if that was the case, then medicine would have stopped with penicillin. Like that, it just you can always go further, even if you're perfect. As you grow, you become a different person, literally almost every day. But as life goes on, like Muhammad Ali said, if you think at 50 the same way you did at 20, you've wasted 30 years of your life. I'm paraphrasing, but that's literally how every day is completely different. There's no back, there's no forward, there's just here and now. Here and now, I am perfect. There is nobody that can take that away from me, because we are, if you believe in God, we are made in God's image. But even if you don't believe in God, how can someone else tell you what you are? That makes no sense to me. That doesn't, nobody can come to me and tell me what I am. Like that like I could never in my mind like grasp that. That makes no sense to me. You gonna tell me what I am? Like, it's just like if someone, and this is the part about today's times, I can't remember a time it wasn't like this, but when people just put you in this group, like let's just say if I agreed with something that Donald Trump did, all of a sudden I'm a Republican. Okay, if I agree with something Obama did, all of a sudden I'm a Democrat. Like, how does that work? I can't pick and choose what I agree with. Like, I have to be this if I agree with this person on this particular thing, but if this person has an opinion about something that I agree with, I shouldn't agree with him because I agree with this person already. How does that work? You can't evolve. You can't think. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I can't wrap my hands around that. Every situation requires a different response. There's no way. Like, for instance, I would never speak to a woman like I would speak to a man unless it was in a situation where, the friendship was at that level. But if I'm really cool with a female and I don't kind of know the guy, I'm not talking to them the same way. I'm going to be more jokingly and friendly with her, and him, I'm a little bit more standoffish because I don't really know his personality yet. Vice versa, too. That's just how it works. So it's like I never understood the concept that people had of, like, oh, I'm this because, like, no, it doesn't matter what anybody calls you. You are what you want to be. Period. Like, every day, you are what you want to be. You are perfect. You may, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you get a haircut and your haircut, you don't feel your haircut looks good. You feel like your line is crooked or something like that. So you're not perfect anymore? Like, the hair ain't gonna grow back. When the hair grows back, like, you're not, like, I don't know how any of that works. We are all individuals. We are all one of one. Yes, there are almost 9 billion people on the planet. We are all one of one at the end of the day. Period. No matter how people want to dice it up, slice it up, put you in a box, put you in a blender, put everybody in one category, we are all one of one. The other thing with that is, though, besides being one of one, we are still men and we are still women. I understand how the gender thing works, and if someone had the gender change from a man to a woman, they're a woman now. That's how it goes. But my thing is, respect goes either way. I watched one of the videos that Kwame played, and I think it was one of them where the guy was talking to Safari in a way, and he asked, he made a comment about his private parts, and then Kwame played a video of a man speaking to a woman. Now, I was born in the 70s and I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I shouldn't be saying stuff like this, but anyway, I'm going to say it anyway. Here we go. I was taught to respect a woman regardless. You don't get physical with a woman unless it's a matter of your own safety. And even then, you should try to walk away as best as you can and use more defense than offense, meaning block, shield, things like that. Not degrade, knock out, kick, none of those things. Regardless, at the end of the day, we all have to be respectful because that woman has a father, has brothers, whatever the case may be. Women are the least respected species on this planet, even though they are the birth givers. That's just the fact of the matter. Men, we have to continue to be men, and we have to stop letting today's society tone us down from being men. We can still be men and not be as, because I'm guessing they're relating a lot of it to how men were before when things were a lot more difficult. But I think over the last, like 20 years, I guess it's the metrosexual era or whatever the case may be. I think during this time frame, I think, the manly man is kind of like they're trying to phase that out and trying to make, everybody like, kind and, 6th place trophies and stuff like that. We still need the men of this world to be men, and we still need them to act like men. Moving forward, we need to continue to teach our young men to grow how to be stronger, older men. Because listening to that boy, because he definitely wasn't a man, did not have the proper training at home. Because there's no way you would disrespect a woman like that, especially verbally, if you had the proper training. Either you keep your mouth shut, or you just walk away. You don't do that to a woman. You don't treat a woman like that. You don't speak to a woman like that. You do not ever disrespect a woman's family like that. And I'm not sure if he was and that doesn't matter if you're gay. I get it. You're gay, which means that you like men. That doesn't mean you get to disrespect women. That's not how it works. That's not how none of this works. You still don't get that. I get it. It's one of those things where it's like a touchy situation, or it's like some people may think, nope, I don't, no, and no, nothing would, no, I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. You should never disrespect a woman like that. Like I said, either you walk away or you defend. But, I'm not saying you let a woman pull out a knife and shoot you or nothing. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I am saying is there's never a need to aggressively attack a woman when she is not physically attacking you. Verbally or any other way. The way that I heard that man talk, I was going to play it. And then I'm like, you know what? If I play that, the message is going to get across the way that I wanted to get across. And my message is we need to continue to raise men. We need to continue to raise men the respectful way to where they have manners and they know how to handle situations. Not these dudes that just flying off the cuff. Like, we got to stop that. That's I grew up in the 90s. I know how that is, man. I've seen those situations escalate, and it's not pretty. And I never, as a child, as a teenager, you never really thought of, you living in the moment. Like I said, you're just living in the moment. You don't know how things are going to turn out 15, 20 years later. And now you look back and you're like, damn, things could have went a lot worse than they did. And a lot of times being in certain situations, prepared you for later on in life. But, you know, it's those things that you learn early on in terms of respect, you know, listening more than you talk. That's a big one. That's huge in our community. Listening more than you talk. Another huge thing is being able to disagree without being violent. We have to get over that being violent stuff. We could disagree, we could argue, we could snap, we could joke, whatever. Dudes shouldn't be getting emotional if you're getting snapped on. If you're getting joked on, you got to just come up with better jokes. I'm sorry. Like, I grew up in a neighborhood where things were harsh. Like, you just had to have better jokes. That's how it goes. Because either way, you can't escape those jokes. You're going to get them all the time. So you just got to have better ones. And when I look at, you know, situations that's going on and people, supposed Muslims, are online talking very aggressively and angrily, which that's usually not what the Quran speaks of, but that's just me. And I've never really seen any other Muslim brothers or sisters act that way before. They're usually peaceful. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me how people can use things against you to try and manipulate the situation. I'll just keep it at that. I don't like talking about people or anything like that. I just want to get this message across that you are perfect. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. Hopefully this assists one of you younger kids out there that are, you know, in a situation where you don't understand what's going on. You are perfect. Just keep living your life. Make the best decision you can. If the decision doesn't work out in your favor, that's fine. Take the lesson with you. When you take the lesson with you, you will never lose. I want to say like Jay-Z said something like that. Anyway, it's your boy Quick Kicks. This is just something I just had to get off my chest. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys for joining me. Click a like, click a subscribe, click that notification bell. We're gonna keep doing videos as we go along. We're gonna have a bunch of different videos coming soon too, different categories. So hopefully I can provide you guys with some relaxing videos too. So this way, because sometimes listening to music and easing the stress off is a great thing. But anyway, thank you guys again for joining. Love you all, YouTube family.